I have an amazing story that happened to me today. It's very interesting that there's a Tehillim group that we're all on, and if you want to get a special copy of it, you need to give them your name and address. So I put my name and address down, and 5 minutes later, a lady, she texts me. This is what she says. Listen to the story. Listen. Oh my, can't believe it. My mother had a major stroke 10 years ago, and my daughter stayed in your house. She hadn't had children for 5 years. She came to your house, and you opened up the Rebbe's letters for her. And the Rebbe said that she will have a child. 9 months later, she had a baby. Isn't that an amazing story? To me, that's what's called truth. If we want to really understand what truth is, that's truth. You believe in something so much, you connect to a tzaddik, to a very righteous person, and here, all of a sudden, you receive it.
Can you take my daughter-in-law?
So what is emes? Emes or emet means truth. You take the letters of emet. The first one is an aleph. That's the first letter of the whole alphabet. The mem is the middle letter. And the taf, which is the last letter of the word emet, is the last letter of the alphabet. So emet goes through and through and through from the beginning all the way to the end. This is a very interesting thing. It's very important when we talk about emet. Now, we understand that in the temple, there was something called the Breach HaTichon, the middle connecting pole. And that connecting pole did not only go straight, it also turned. So it was completely turning all the way around the whole Mishkan. So it was the middle point of the whole Mishkan. That's what means a middle point. Truth is the middle point. Just like, it's interesting because when the Baal HaTanya, who's the Rav Shneur Zalman Mileadi, the first Chabad Rebbe, when he talks about the idea of Beinoni, who knows what a Beinoni is? A Beinoni is somebody who is an intermediary person. But it doesn't mean that he's right in the middle, that he has half good and half bad. A Beinoni, according to the Baal HaTanya, means somebody who his mind, his thought, his speech, and his deeds are perfect. But what happens? Every 5 seconds, he still is upset. When he gets a thought in his mind, what does he do? He pushes it away. But he still gets the thoughts in his mind to do something maybe not so good. But he doesn't entertain the thought. That's a Beinoni. A tzaddik is someone who doesn't even get thoughts. So a Beinoni is much easier to get to. We have a chance to become a Beinoni, but we never have a chance to become a tzaddik, because a tzaddik is born a tzaddik. He's born righteous. Most of us are the strugglers. A Beinoni is a struggler. Most of us struggle all our lives, because every time we get a thought in our mind, we have to try to push the thought away. Just like if you take, it's interesting, we take the opposite of emes, and you take the word sheker. What does sheker mean? Deceit. Sheker means the opposite of emes. Sheker, what letter is in the middle of sheker? The letter kuf. The letter kuf is like this, and then very long. Because sheker takes you right into the ground. So when you deceive people, where do you go? Right into the ground. You're not coming up like a normal situation. Every person has the potential to bring out truth in themselves. It's not easy, but we all can work on ourselves and try to bring out a true opposite of deceptive person. And especially now that we're coming to the month of Shvat. If you know, the month of Shvat is so special for the idea of Beinoni. Why? Why the month of Shvat? Because it's the 11th month. What's 10? 10 are all the attributes of a person. All the attributes of God are number 10. It's complete. And if we come to 11, it's not just higher. It becomes already the struggle. It's already extra. We have to work on something more than just 10. So that's the Benoni, the struggler, number 11. We are now coming into the 11th month. The 11th month is the month of the struggle. Very interesting, talking about the number 11. The Lubavitcher Rebbe became the head of the Lubavitch movement on the 11th month, on the 11th day, in the 11th year from the date that the previous Rebbe came to America.
Weird.
Isn't that weird? And if you also remember, if you think about 11, 9/11, right?
So this is the month of struggle.
It's the month of the Benoni, the month of struggle, but the struggle doesn't have to remain a struggle because Mashiach is also a
I
struggler.
was born in this month.
Wow. So Mashiach is also a struggler. Mashiach doesn't come to the perfect tzaddik only. Mashiach comes to the people who are struggling. We have to do our struggling to get to that point. So it is a beautiful month. It's a month that has a potential, an amazing potential. On the 10th of this month was the date that the previous Rebbe passed away. And actually, the previous Rebbe wrote an amazing discourse. The discourse is called Basi Lagani. I came to my garden. What is a garden? A garden is the whole world. The world is a garden. We came to this world on a mission. The previous Rebbe talks about the mission of the Jewish people. He talks about coming to the garden and then messing up the garden and then making the garden better again and then messing it up again. This is the story of the Jewish people. They're always messing up this garden. But they always have a mission in this garden. Who else is in the garden? God is in the garden too. He's walking with us. He's not leaving us all alone. He continues to be with us in this garden. Besides the point, what did God tell us to build so that we can have a sanctuary? The first thing he told us to build was a Mishkan. Remember this tabernacle? And then we built 2 temples. But the tabernacle was built out of sticks. And in Hebrew, a stick is called keresh. Keresh, if you turn around the word keresh, we get the word sheker. What is sheker? Remember we said what sheker means?
Not true.
Right, lie. Right, not truth.
Lie.
Remember we said deceit, the opposite of emes, the opposite of truth. Remember how we said sheker? And you turn it around, you get keresh. Keresh is actually elevating the sheker, making the darkness into light, making the difficulty, the bitterness, into sweetness, making our struggle into something beautiful. So this is what we're talking about here.
Shakers? No,
Sheker.
shakers.
Sheker means falsehood, deceit. False. The opposite of truth. Emes is truth. I mean, I'm sure you heard in Yiddish emes, the emes, mizok the emes, right? You say the truth.
So true, but
Right.
It doesn't
But
have
the
to-
opposite is sheker. Sheker means untruth. So if you take the word sheker and you turn it around, you'll get the word keresh, which means a stick, a beam of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle. Meaning that you can take this bad stuff and turn it into good stuff.
in a positive.
Into positive, exactly. You can take that deceit and turn it into beauty. So honesty, we say, is very important. There's a famous story about a very famous family, Rothschild family. Do you hear of the Rothschild family? They were the most richest people in Europe before the Euro. Rothschild, yeah.
Isn't it real?
How did a story happen? How did they get so rich? Do you know the story behind them, how they got rich?
There is
Він
something
knew.
fishy.
He was poor first, yeah?
He was very poor. His name was Anshel Moshe. He was the poorest man you've ever met in your life. He worked for a Rebbe. He was the Rebbe's Mesharish. He would come to the Rebbe and help him in his house if he needed anything. He would come to him. What happened one day? One day, the Rebbe's looking and saw that the tzedakah money was gone. Nobody was in the house except for Anshel Moshe, Rothschild. So he didn't know what to do. So he came to Anshel Moshe and he says, did you see this money? Maybe you misplaced it somewhere. Do you know where it is? Anshel Moshe says, aha, I do. He went home. Of course, he was very poor. He collected, sold everything in his house, collected money, and brought it to the Rebbe. About 6 months later, a sheriff came to this Rebbe and said, I caught your thief. He said, what are you talking about? I thought Anshel Moshe took this money. He says, I'm telling you, a lady came to me and she confessed that she was working in your house as a cleaning person and she stole the money because she really needed it for herself. And he said, but Anshel Moshe told me he took it. Maybe something is strange. So he went to Anshel Moshe and he told him, he said, I see how honest you are, that you didn't even want me to think that you were dishonest. I bless you that you will be very rich and all your children after you will never have problems with money. And so his children, I think he had 5 children, all of them became very rich in many, many different places. In their
But that was rabbi, very powerful.
Yes, and a powerful blessing. It was a blessing of this rabbi, but the blessing was not because Anshel Moshe was so great. It's because he had integrity. He didn't want the rabbi to think that he was a thief. So he gave him the money, even though he never took it. So we see how important it is to have integrity, even if he didn't take the money, and he became rich. So listen, have you ever done any of these things while you're shopping? Shh. Did you ever leave a cart near your car instead of bringing it back where it belongs? I'm sure most of us done that. Going through clothes and a dress falls off a hanger and you just, whatever, and you walk by. Have you ever noticed that the cashier made a mistake and undercharged you, and you just walk out of the store? Did you ever get into your car and realize that one of your kids took something out of the store, and you're just too lazy to go give it back? Did you ever buy something, wear it not once, and return it, just because why? Because you only needed it for one night? Did you ever?
Not honest, no.
Did you ever go to the store, buy something, forget it in the store, and too lazy to go pick it up? If your answer is yes to any of these, you guys are terrible, but I've done the same. So we all are like that. Sorry. It's very hard. It's very hard for us to be. Right. So let's explore what happens when we go shopping. What could happen? Look in the book, whoever has a book, page 26, exercise 1. Okay, let's text later. Okay, look at exercise 1, page 26. Okay. Number 1. Jane's neighbor is moving and needs to sell her washing machine. Jane tells her neighbor, I know the washing machine is worth $500, but I will only take it if you give it to me for $200. The neighbor says, okay. She's doing it because she needs cash very quickly. Is Jane's behavior right or wrong? What do you think? You think it's wrong? Why?
She took advantage.
She took advantage, okay. Could she have been right? But Jane knows that she's giving her $200. She doesn't mind.
Yeah, I don't think there's something wrong with
See?
that.
You have a different opinion. You think there's something wrong because you feel like she's taking advantage, but why is there really something wrong if she's haggling
asking
with
for
her?
200.
She asked her, she didn't have
Yeah.
to take it.
That's
She didn't have to take it. Yeah, okay. Okay, Martha is looking to purchase a used car. She sees a car that she likes, priced for $7,000. But she knows that the vehicle's Blue Book value is $12,000. Is it appropriate for Martha to purchase the car without notifying the seller of its true value?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Businesswoman.
Okay, but what the Blue Book says 12,000, and she's selling it for 7,000. Should we tell her that the Blue Book is 12,000?
No.
Okay,
I
you
will
say
sell
yeah,
it.
you say no. Why do you say yes?
Yes, because when I buy, I always bargain.
No, this is
And I look at home how much it costs.
But you tell her that that's what it
Yes.
costs. Okay, and what about you?
It's the same thing as finding like a $10 bill on the street.
Right.
It's just like a gift from God. You take
Okay, so if she's
I will ask a seller. I will ask seller why it's cheaper to compare to the
because
blue.
maybe there's something wrong with
Ron,
it.
is this yes?
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Right, that's another idea. Okay, that works.
7,000 продают.
Okay, here's a third one. This one is interesting. Sarah spies a diamond ring at a local garage sale. The price tag says $10 or best offer. Clearly, the seller thinks it's zirconia, but really, it's diamond. Would it be appropriate for Sarah to feign ignorance and buy it for $10? You know it's a diamond ring.
Nobody
She's
gonna
selling
take
it
for $10.
as zirconia.
Цирконий.
She's selling it for $10, but it's really diamond.
But she didn't
Should
know
you
maybe.
Maybe she
Right?
doesn't know.
Should you
Yeah.
tell her that it's a diamond ring? If you
I
know,
am, yes.
you would. Okay.
I would
Anybody?
not, to be honest.
You would not.
I
to be
don't know.
honest.
Maybe I will
I'll
not,
be
to be
telling.
honest.
Okay. Okay. You're all honest. It's great. I love
I
it.
don't understand. For me, just,
Yes,
I
yes.
would take it. I didn't know.
If you
this is
know, if you
different.
knew, the question is if you knew, not if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Она
Она
рада, что
может
его
и не
продала.
Не поэтому, она может и не знать, что такое
Конечно,
даймонд.
конечно.
Но все равно сказать, ты можешь сказать.
Okay,
Но она
next.
все равно знать не будет, что
What
это
would you
такое.
do, Mati?
It's hard to tell. I'll tell you the truth. I probably would tell her if I knew it was diamond. I would say that. With the other ones, it's not
Не
so clear
обязательно
cut.
ювелир.
But with this one, I think I would say
Когда
it.
это
In this case.
он
Not in all
разными
cases.
цветами. А даймонд разными цветами не...
Okay, number D. This is another one. You received an email from a friend with a link to a page on Amazon.com. This is an interesting one. Act quick, your friend says. There's a new iPhone at $9.99. No strings attached. Would it be appropriate for you to take advantage? If they say this was a glitch in Amazon, would you go ahead and buy it?
I would feel less.
I be feeling
I will
it's
not.
maybe
Right,
something
you'd feel
wrong.
less guilty because it's corporate, but you'd feel more guilty if it was someone you knew, right?
Yeah.
If you knew the company and you knew the owner,
Это-
you'd probably
ты
feel
думаешь,
more
что
guilty. If it was
это
your brother that was selling it and made a mistake,
Yeah.
then you'd feel bad for him and you wouldn't do it, right?
No, я бы
But
не
because it's
взяла.
Amazon, you think it's a corporation, they can lose it.
No, I'm not,
No, I will not buy it.
You wouldn't buy it,
No.
right?
No,
because
I'm
it's
not.
cheating.
No, because cheating, something's
right.
going on
I
inside.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is...
You feel like it's cheating. There was something not long ago in El Al that they sold tickets, I don't know, a couple of years ago, for, I think it was like $400 or maybe less to go to Israel. And it was a glitch on El Al. And people did it, but El Al actually honored it. They said, yes, you can have that for that amount of money. It's interesting how that works, you know?
How much was it
That's
supposed
like
to
a
be?
mistake.
How much?
I think it was a
$500?
$3,000 ticket or something, and it was
Oh.
only like $400 or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it was something like that, or maybe it was $200 or something. I don't remember. It was really ridiculous.
Wow.
I wish it's happened with me.
She's on
Let's pray for this. I will be honest. I'm not gonna say anybody.
You're not
I
going to
will
tell
go
anyone. You'll
straight
go,
to
right? You'll do it, right?
Please.
That's funny how certain people and certain things, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'll do it, because it's connected to you. Now we said about the person who sells. What about the consumer, the person who buys? Definitely, if you look at page 30, which is text number 4. Okay, let's see, text number 4. It's 5 already. Text number 4 says, when you sell something to your fellow or make a purchase from him, you shall not wrong one another. In other words, it has to go both ways. The person who sells and the person who buys both have to be
Honest.
honest. Actually, it's not 0.6%, it's 1/6 of the true value. Sorry, it's 1/6, not 0.6, sorry. So, what about bargain hunting? Are you allowed to bargain hunt?
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with bargain hunting, because what are you doing? You're just finding a low price, and the person who's selling it knows what they're selling and what's the reason they're marking it down, because nobody wanted to buy it. So they mark down the prices. If you go to Ross, right, what do you get? You get stuff that was in Macy's originally, got marked down in Macy's, nobody bought it, so they send it to Ross. And then it gets sometimes marked down in Ross too, because no one's buying it. So there's nothing wrong with bargain hunting. But what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong? If you go to Nordstrom and you try on clothes, right? You go to Nordstrom and you try on clothes, and then you say, okay, and you leave the store, and what are you going to do? You're going to go online and buy it for cheaper. Are you allowed to do that?
Yes, allowed.
Why is it wrong?
No, I thought you said
Why is it wrong? No. Why is it wrong? It
I
is
don't
wrong.
think.
No, it's not wrong. I think
Price is wrong.
Is it because you're taking away the salary and the time, because maybe they get something out of it, of the salesperson, and that's wrong.
What if you don't speak to a salesperson?
If you don't speak to anyone, that's not wrong.
Oh, okay, yes.
But if you, or you bother somebody and you don't put away the clothes, you have to make it look like it was before, so nobody has to work for you.
Chinese people do that all the time. They go into the store and take pictures.
Yes, it's a lot of pictures do
You're not
this.
allowed to do that, actually. That's
Yeah.
really deceptive.
Do what, Mikey? To do
You
what?
go into the store, you try on the clothes, and then you come home and you go online and you see the same clothes and you buy it. It's wrong.
Online.
And it's
Because
cheaper
you buy, it's cheaper online, of course.
Oh, yes.
And when you go into the store, you're bothering the salesperson. You're taking away their time.
But say this is with your work.
Yeah, but you're not buying anything. Are you buying something?
No.
It's wrong.
They work for commission.
They work for commission. So you're pretending you want to buy something,
Yeah.
and you're not buying it at the end. You're taking away their
Yeah,
time.
I got it, because when I was working in the hair salon,
Yeah.
I was spend a lot of time to do the hair, to try to sell this product.
Right.
And the people sitting on my chair, oh yeah, just leave right here. Then I said, oh no, I'm going to Amazon and buy. And she scanned this product,
Oh, my God.
shampoo and conditioner. I said, I will buy. And of course,
How did you feel?
awful.
Awful. Yeah, so there you go. That's exactly
Yeah.
the point.
Это как бы тебе плюнули в лицо.
Да, yes.
So let's look at text number 5. So text number 5, just look through it very quickly. An example would be,
I have a question.
Yeah.
What about salespeople? Because I've seen this too.
Yeah.
Like, who it's not their company, they don't care.
right.
And someone comes in like, oh, la la la. Oh, but you could also find it cheaper online. The salesperson
That is
says
very wrong for the salesperson to do that, because
Yeah.
they're cheating their own company.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're also cheating their own company.
But they
It's like
think
we
they're
care so
helping
much
the
about,
other person.
I said, we'll sell it.
Truth,
Okay.
truth, no salesperson.
Too much
Truth.
честный, да? Too much.
Yeah.
So going back to the thing of the return policy,
Ужас.
right? Going back to the return policy. So the point is, what was your intent? It's just depending on your intent. If you bought, let's say, 10 pairs of shoes, and you knew you were going to bring back 9 of those pairs of shoes because you didn't know which one will fit you, then it's okay, because you're not deceiving anyone. You're planning to buy 1 pair, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. That's not deception, right? But if you're just buying for a one-time use, what was your intention? What was your intention?
To return it.
To return it. That's not nice. Did you pay for borrowing something?
For return only.
Right.
Показали с самого начала. Они приезжали и хватали.
Okay, so let's look at text number 7. Text number 7, which is on page. Guys, I'm on here, and you're making too much noise. Okay. So text number 7. One who borrows an object without its owner's permission is considered a robber.
Роберт, вау.
Going to a store and trying something on and then buying it online, it's deceit. You're actually like a robber, basically. That's what it says according to the Torah. That's terrible, right? And I'm sure a lot of us have done certain things like that, but we need to know that that's not right. Okay, so page 33, text number 7.
But I mean,
А что это? Что, ты знаешь, что ли?
for Black Friday,
На один
I
день
saw these shoes that I really liked.
Okay.
I didn't try them on, but I
Right.
was really like checking them out. And I spoke with the store owner. There was no one else in there.
Right.
I was like, they're gorgeous, but they are like totally overpriced even with the Black Friday discount. And so I went and I found them for way cheaper online, and I did.
But
get
you
them.
you didn't have the intention not to buy them when you were in the store, but you realized they were overpriced after you looked at them already, right?
Я должна ехать
Okay, so that's different,
в
right?
Канаду.
Your intent was not to cheat them. Your intent was to buy it, but because it was so overpriced, you decided not to buy it. That's the point. Yeah.
Question.
Я должна поехать.
Here and there we do wrong things. Here and there we do right things. So how Hashem look at us and
Hashem is the most forgiving in the whole,
Everything, yes.
for everything.
Yeah.
Hashem forgives us, for you would never believe how much He forgives us. He has mercy, so much mercy. Guys, no conversation. He has so much mercy. It's unbelievable. Here's another story which kind of demonstrates this whole point. So the story of a man
я хочу что-то.
who with his wife went to the hospital. It was from Brooklyn to Manhattan. Could you imagine the traffic? So here he's going over the bridge, and there's no way that he's going to be able to get to Manhattan in time for his wife to have a baby. So he goes on the side where the taxis are, and he's speeding across there, right? Because he has to get to the other side. And what happens? And the police is at the end there going, now what's going on? So he tells the police, my wife's having a baby, So the police say, okay, fine. So he escorts him to the hospital. So the guy goes to the hospital, his wife has a baby, everything is fine. And the man is coming on his way back. And he stops at the toll booth to pay his toll. And he says, I'm sorry, I have to pay double. Because on the way here, I didn't pay. So he was extra honest. So what happens? The toll guy goes, so what'd your wife have? So he says, how'd you know my wife had a baby? He says, when you guys were speeding, and we saw that, we understood that it was your wife was having a baby, everybody in the toll booth area, all the police were saying, just watch this guy. He's going to come back and pay double. Those kind of guys pay double. And he came back and paid. Isn't that a beautiful story? Yeah.
Can I share my story?
Sure.
We came in a store, Cost Plus, it was many years ago, to buy chairs. And intention was to buy 2 chairs. So we grab package, chairs, really, a seller person, scan. Okay, we got chairs. Then we come back for some questions. Oh, how to put together if they instruction. And they look and they said, guys, in one package 2 chairs. So we got, instead of 2, we got 4. And we said, so we already pay. So technically they cannot make us to pay, but then they ask us to, nicely. And that's a struggle. And you're like, oh, why are we back?
How honest should I be?
Why
Right?
are we back? We can have
4 chairs.
4 chairs for the price of 2 chairs. But so
honestly,
we pay.
Да, sometimes.
So now the question is, why do we follow the laws? Do we follow this because we have an internal system, or we follow it because on the outside, what happens? we can see. Listen to the story about the Berditchever Rebbe. Berditchever Rebbe always wanted to prove a point about the Jewish people. So he said to his students, can you go out and find snuff tobacco? And exactly at that time, the Tsar forbid anyone to have snuff or tobacco. It's like the stuff you put in the snuff tobacco, the thing that you snuff. Anyway, so they went and they got it and they brought it back to the Berditchever Rebbe. So the Berditchever Rebbe says to them like this: today is Pesach. Why don't you go and find some chametz? I want some chametz. He says, what? You want me to get chametz? He says, yes, I want you to find chametz.
What is it?
Pesach. You know Pesach, you're not allowed to have chametz.
Oh, okay.
Right, you have matzah and no chametz, right? Bread, basically. So they looked everywhere for chametz and they couldn't find it. They came back to Berditchever and said, we can't find chametz. He says, thank you, God. The Jewish people are amazing. Do you see, when God gives them laws, they keep it 100%. When the Tsar gives laws, nobody cares. But when God gives laws, God, you should see that God enforces his laws. He doesn't have to jump and run after people. They do it automatically. So this is the idea. What are these laws about? Is it about enforcement? Or is it about your value system? Who's watching? Who is watching you when you do something wrong? Is it God watching you? Or are you worried about the Internal Revenue Service? Or are you worried about the policeman watching you? Like the truck driver who goes down the road and it says, under 8 feet, don't go under if your truck is over 8 feet. And his truck is like 8.5 feet. And so he looks around, he doesn't see a policeman, and he goes under. Why? Because we don't care. It's only if somebody's watching. But God's laws, we feel it inside. It's in here. It does not have to be enforced. It's a whole different story.
It's not because you know that he is watching us. Not
We
because.
feel God. We love God. We care about how God feels with us. It's different. And it says, Lifnei iver lo shiten michshol. Don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person. And then it says, Ani Hashem, because I am God. Why shouldn't you put a stumbling block in front of a blind person? It doesn't mean a blind person really blind. It means a person who doesn't see the truth. Don't put a stumbling block in front of this person. Don't lie or deceive him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I am your God. That's the only reason you have to listen. Not because I'm enforcing the laws. Not because because I'm God. That's it. So, how do you know if your child really internalizes your values? How he acts in a shul, in a synagogue, or how he acts in the street? The street, right. Of course, the street. Because we see that a child is acting a certain way in the street. You know that he doesn't see anyone looking at him, right? In the synagogue, the rabbi's looking at him, right? In the street, nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. So you know that he really took these values. So what is this all about? Buying and selling. Go back to Basi Lagani. Remember we said, I am in my garden? What the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote about the garden here. We come to this world. Why do we come to this world?
For mission.
For a mission. We all have a mission in this world. I actually heard something very interesting. Some people say, oh, I do all kinds of good things. But if it diverts you from your own mission, you shouldn't do it. In other words, if you have a mission, I know what my mission is to help people, especially the Jews from the former Soviet Union, to learn a little about Judaism, right? And if I do something for somebody else, a poor person, and I'm not coming here to school to teach, instead I go and help another person, is that correct?
No.
No, I'm not doing something good. I came here for a mission. I need to fulfill my mission. I need to continue doing what God feels is emes, what God feels is truth.
So even if you take one day off to do something for someone else, that's a distraction from your mission?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. depending on what's going on. If you have nothing going on, yeah, go ahead and help someone
On
else
a
too.
free time.
In your free time, sure. But if it diverts you from your mission, that's unimportant. What is MS? What is the truth? What you need to do in this world to elevate this world. Now, we are partners with God. We need to do something, and we have a purpose in this world. So we need to use every moment that we have for our purpose. And we need to think about, what is our purpose? What is important in this world, in this life?
You are lucky that you know exactly what to do. But
Okay,
we
every
sometimes
person
don't
needs,
know.
you know what? What is the most difficult for you? That's your mission. Believe me.
Yeah, that's it.
Believe me, what's the most
Вот
difficult
это
for
больше
you?
всего не
That's your
интересно.
mission.
Мне
That's what you have to work on.
Я готова Вот это оно. не знаю.
And we need to
Вот
take
это
each
вот
time
оно. Я всегда говорю.
one step forward. Just little by little. Nobody says you have to do everything at once. If you need to be more MS, more truthful, let's work on being truthful this week. Let's see what truthful things we can figure out this week. So hopefully we'll hear good things.
Good things. From today, we have
Today
to. Yes.
on. Yes.
We know.